What is going on, Squid Familia? It has been a minute since I've been back on this, and I think it's been like what, 3 weeks now, man. Sad, like exams are super sad, man. Like I can't even explain. But either way, we're done with it. Hopefully content comes out more consistently. I can get it to you guys, I can get it to myself, right? These are just projects I like to look at every now and then, but let's just hop right into it, man. Looking at the team right here, well, not the team, but looking at the wallpaper right here, you can see what the team is gonna be. We're gonna focus it around our main man, our MVP of today. We are gonna do Tentacruel. Right? Tentacruel is such a threat, not a threat, but it can be such a threat, right? Currently in the meta right now, Tentacruel runs a niche set where it is a rapid spinner first and foremost, and it sets up toxic spikes maybe, right? In addition to that, it doesn't really have many moves to hit people with normally, right? Or so what people think, right? You have your generic, obviously your Scald, you have your what is it, your Sludge Bomb, right? But outside of that, you don't really see moves on Tentacruel that are, you know, are hitting wide varieties of people or Pokemon that matter. Right. So the idea of this team today is just to make the whole team, not even Tentacruel itself, but the whole team very unpredictable. And by doing that, not only does it allow us to create advantages with this team, but it definitely is able to catch people off guard and, you know, get those cheeky wins in here and there. And it's just like doing that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, I outplayed him, or like, wow, I surprised him that much that he quit. That was pretty awesome. Stuff like that. Like, that's the idea of this team, right? So starting off with our Tentacruel, we're gonna name him Soldier Boy, just cause. I don't know why. It's just when I was testing it, I was making around teams and it didn't really work out well until I named him Soldier Boy, etc., etc. The team became sick, so we're keeping it that way, right? We're keeping it that way. Shiny Tentacruel is kind of ugly, so we're gonna keep it regular. Excuse me. So the items that people typically run on Tentacruel are either Black Sludge, I guess leftovers, right? But typically what I use on Tentacruel is more offensive, because I think it serves so much of a more it has so much more of a surprise factor than what people think, I guess, right? So my debate was either between Assault Vest, Life Orb, or Assault Vest, choice, Assault Vest, Life Orb, or Expert Belt, sorry. Yeah, one of the three. But at the end of the day, I went with Assault Vest, just because it not only betters Tentacruel's special defense, but it allows this Pokemon to pivot in and then pick off people that are unwary of what it can do. Clear Body, just because we don't allow those stat drops. And what I mean by that previous statement is just instead of your generic Scald and Sludge Bomb, right? What we're gonna do is a little bit different, right? Instead of Scald, we're gonna make this thing hit hard. We're gonna need Hydro Pump. And if you look at its special attack, it's not super high, right? So by having Scald, it's not gonna do that much. So to counteract that, I put Hydro Pump. Even though it does have a higher miss ratio, it doesn't have that burn effect. That extra damage is just extraordinary for me, right? I need that extra damage, right? This team needs the extra damage. And the Essence of Surprise is great, just because people will switch in their Tapu Leles halfway through, not thinking it'd be fast or something like that. And then we come in with a Sludge Bomb and just completely erase that thing off the face of the earth. Or we face a Tapu Bulu who thinks he's sick or something, and then we hit him with a Sludge Bomb again. And then let's say a Lando comes in on this thing thinking that we're just gonna rapid spin. We have Ice Beam for that thing. That thing's gone, right? The tech move of choice on top of Ice Beam I put is Hidden Power Fire. Right? It's so good against, you know, wary Ferrothorns, hits Mawwiles, I guess, Celesteelas, even Magnezones, right? Super good in that regard. I think a little bit of damage there, here and there. It doesn't hurt really, and if you think about it, if I'm doing 25% to a Magnezone, and then thinking that he would be faster, and then I hit him with another Hidden Power Fire, I'm doing like 50%, right? So he can't even switch into me at half, right? So although it doesn't hit hard, the essence of surprise is on my side, and it definitely helps out 100%, right? So timid nature, and then we're gonna go max speed, max special attack, of course, 4 special defense, I guess, whatever. Right. Moving on to meta. I already revealed it, but moving on to Tentacruel's supporting cast, we're gonna do meta gross, mega, of course. Meta gross is just, in my opinion, the best mega in the game. Many people agree, many people don't, but it is what it is. Metagross serves the niche where, although, well, I can't even say although, this Pokemon, first and foremost, is fast as hell. It's strong as hell, and then Tough Claws makes this thing such a threat. In addition to Clear Body, so when it switches in, there's no stat lowering, right? It can switch into Lando first turn. If that Lando is defensive and you Ice Punch it, that thing's gone. That thing's gone to oblivion, right? We named this guy Bob the Builder, because he be building W's for us. For some reason Shiny doesn't show up, but we're keep it shiny. Again, Tough Claws is amazing ability. This Pokemon's contact moves, so physical moves that, like, I guess physically touch the Pokemon, are multiplied by 1.3 on top of stab. So like Meteor Mash is doing a stupid amount, Ice Punch is doing a stupid amount, Thunder Punch is doing a stupid amount, right? Of course we run Clear Body, we don't want those stab traps. And my favorite set on Metagross may be different than yours, you might want to play around with it, but the set I found the most success with is running Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch is great just because it picks off Pokemon that typically rely on speed. You're looking at Greninja, right? You're looking at Tapu Koko. You can hit these things hard, right? On top of that, you're running its, well, I'm running its standard move, its signature move, Meteor Mash. This thing hits so hard, right? You're having stab, you're having that 1.3 off of Tough Claws, and then you have that 20% chance of raising the attack power. 90% accuracy, but we can live with that, right? Like, it's such a spammable move to the point where you don't have to think, you just click it and then something drops, right? So it is what it is, but that's what I think. And the greatest thing about Metagross, I feel, is it has so much like diversity. You can run it whatever way you think it works. Like if you want to put Zen Headbutt, if you want to put Earthquake, if you want to put like whatever you want, this thing does damage regardless of what it is. I run Earthquake, but in this section I also tried Zen Headbutt. I've tried Thunder Punch. Either or works fine. You can even try like random moves. You can do Explosion for all that matter. Like, it works on this thing because it's such a threat, right? I've seen Pursuit. It's super weird, but it works sometimes, right? And the last move I run is Ice Punch, just because I like taking out those Landos. Lando is just super common. I see it so much that I'm just taking it out. I'll put that in there, right? Again, this thing is running max speed, Jolly Nature, max attack. I think it's standard. I prefer Jolly over Adamant just because if you do face an Adamant, you're going first, guaranteed every single time. On top of that, even if you're Adamant, you're still not taking out another meta 100%, right? You're still gonna be doing like 80-90%, and then in which case you can just take them out. You know, I guess they have Meteor Mash, but I don't even think Meteor Mash takes them out at 10%. You know, I don't know, but that's my philosophy on it. And if you look at its stats, it's just super great, man. Like, if you really wanted to, you can run special variant, right? It wouldn't be that great, but you can run special variant, right? It's defense and special defense is nothing to scoff at. 336, that's amazing. There's no investment in that, and 336, that's crazy. Special defense, 257, that's respectable, right? Nothing wrong with that. Moving on. To complement this team even further, we do have a weakness in ground, but we'll get to that eventually. Next guy I want to put in is my favorite Pokemon of all time, Greninja. Greninja serves such a good role in this team. The Greninja we're using, by the way, shout out to Joey one time because he made everybody know that male Greninja, non-shiny, has a chance of being either or, so that variable stays true. People are wary on it. If they see the female and the shiny, they know it's not Battle Bond. But I always run Protean. Protean is just such a versatile move. People don't, again, they don't know if it's gonna be Protean. They don't know if it's gonna be Battle Bond, right? They don't know if it's Specs. They don't know if it's Life Orb, etc. Right? In this case, what we're doing is Expert Belt to keep that surprise alive, right? Unless they're doing calcs and stuff, they're not gonna see it coming. they're gonna see like, oh wow, I didn't know that did that much damage, and it doesn't without expert belt, right? Moves you run on it. You can put water shuriken instead of hydro pump. I like hydro pump. I like that damage. But if you're looking for that momentum, if you're looking for that priority, you know, do what you gotta do. Go with water shuriken. Right. On top of hydro pump, what I put, I think is very standard. Dark pulse. Dark pulse is a great move. I think it's better on battle bond in this case, but nonetheless, it's a great move even for Protean. First and foremost, stab switches you to a dark type. 30% chance of flinching, 80 base power damage, 20% chance of flinching, whatever. Still such a great move. Whatever. That 20% turns into like 80% sometimes, I swear. Excuse me. Moving on. The tech moves of choice I put is Gunk Shot. You can put Ice Beam here if you'd like. You can put Extra Sensory. Right? But I like Gunk Shot because not only is it a physical move, it hits things like Tapu Fini, hits things like Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, I guess all the Tapus. Random like psychics, I guess Gardevoir can come in and it would not take this thing well, right? But the idea is, you know, by switching your moveset to a physical, right, it can hit things relatively hard, right? Last move choice, I put Hidden Power Fire, right? Do not underestimate Hidden Power Fire under Protean and Expert Belt. That thing is a threat, even if it's base 60 damage. Like, I'm chunking down Celesteela. I'm doing like 30-40%. Magnezone, same thing. Ferrothorn, that thing is like almost dropped. Scizor, basically gone if it's not super bulky. Right? Like, Hidden Power Fire with Expert Belt and Protean. Amazing. One of the best, like, surprise moments for me. Alright. What we're gonna do is just go with the recommended set, Hasty Nature, because we don't want to deter that attack. Full special attack, full speed, investment 4 in attack, right? I think that's pretty standard, max speed. Moving on, to keep the theme of a surprise, what I've noticed this generation is there has been a definite lack of one Pokemon I think is very good and still relevant in this meta, but people don't show it enough love just because of new toy syndrome. Everyone wants to play with the new Tapus or the new legendaries, whatever the case may be. But this Pokemon is one of my favorites, Latios. Latios is so cool. Yes, it does not typically win against the Tapus, and it does show weakness against Celesteela and Skarmory, but the set I'm going to do definitely combats it, I think, relatively well. Right, and just because it's forgotten in this meta, we're gonna name it Forgotten, right? The reason why I run Latios the way I do is just because with this team, speed is the name of the game, and unpredictability is a second to that, right? So if I can catch people off guard consistently, alright, they're not gonna know what to expect. They're not gonna know how to play eventually, and by the end of it, they're gonna be all baffled and whatnot. So that's the idea of this team going in. And Latios just complements that so well. So this is the item I run on it. I run a Choice Scarf, right? Fast as is already, putting a Choice Scarf on it makes it like beyond light years fast, right? I can pick things off a mile away, right? Scarf Lando, who cares? I got you, man. But moveset I run Draco Meteor, I think is staple. I run Psyshock over Psychic. Psyshock I think does just a better job of hitting things that are weaker and physical, such as, you know, Tentacruel, for example, right? Tentacruel has a very frail physical defense, so I hit it like that. I'm pretty sure Venusaur is special. No, it could be. I think it's pretty balanced actually. It doesn't matter. But either way, like, I think Psyshock is just better in that regard. I think overall it's better. Very reliable move. I think it's what, 90 base power, 80 base power. 100% accuracy, can't really complain. Two moves I run, again to compete against Lando, I run an Ice Beam at Choice Scarf. Nothing's gonna be outspeeding me. Like, they say GG at the end of the game, thinking they're gonna pick me off with like a U-turn or a knockoff, etc. And then boom, Ice Beam, right? Game over. GG, mate. And to combat Celesteela and Skarm, Thunderbolt. I think Thunderbolt's such a great move. So underutilized on Latios, even in current, like, previous meta. People didn't run Thunderbolt as much, right? And it's great because not only can you now hit things like Skarm and Celesteela, right? It provides unpredictability on top of that, right? Now they don't know what, if I didn't show Ice Beam yet, they don't know if I have the hidden power Ice. I mean, hidden power fire. They don't know if I have defog. They don't know if I have. I don't know. They just, quite frankly, they don't know. Right? I think that's the greatest part. With this guy again, max attack, max speed, timid nature. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Moving onward, what I have is, if you notice this team, well, it's kind of cool. It's like full blue. I didn't even notice that. Either way, we'll break the trend right now. I go Ferrothorn. The reason why I picked Ferrothorn is I don't think there is a more reliable pivot utility Pokemon than Ferrothorn right now in pretty much any meta. I could be wrong, but Ferrothorn is so good in the nature where it comes in, takes the hit, sets up the spike / stealth rock. If they're still in, it can leech seed, and they'll switch. You can leech seed again. It's just such a good Pokemon, in my opinion, for that reason. Right. For item, I pick Leftovers over Rocky Helm. I think it's more important for sustainability over that little extra bit of damage, even if the sustainability is only greater by so little. You know, little is better than nothing. Moveset. Best part about this moveset is I run both Power Whip and Gyro Ball. Right. I don't know if it's common, quite frankly, but I don't see it very often. Most of the time, I feel if you reveal one or the other, they don't expect you to have the other, if you know what I mean, right? So if you show a Gyro Ball, they might switch you to a Pokemon that can take the Gyro Ball, but does not resist the Power Whip, right? I've gotten kills like that, just because simply they don't expect it, right? Like, I'll show Power Whip to like a Lando or something for some reason, and they're like, okay, it's safe, he doesn't have Gyro Ball, and they'll switch in their Lele, and I whack that thing, or they switch in their Bulu and I whack that thing, right? That's the reason why I run it, and just because Gyro Ball is just great move, just because Ferrothorn's heavy as balls. Not heavy, sorry, slow as balls. Going forward, I was debating between Spikes or Stealth Rock. The debate was that Spikes, although it takes longer to set up, it does more damage like later on. But for Rocks, the damage is more consistent, right? It hits more things. So that was the debate, but I picked Spikes right now. But if you want to sub in Stealth Rock for yourself, test it out by all means. But I picked Spikes just because, why not? Last move, I think it's staple. I put Leech Seed, just, you know, keep the switching to the minimum. If they're gonna keep pivoting, that's great. I'll just keep on Leech Seeding until they pivot into something nice and they expect me to Leech Seed again. I'll switch out. I'll put in a good Pokemon that kind of combats the situation. But that's what I put for what it is. Spread, I put full HP, 88 in defense, 168 in special defense. And we put Relax Nature. Less defense, less speed, better Gyro Ball. Simple as that. Last Pokemon. I was thinking about it. I didn't really know what to put, right? If you look at the team, there's not, I guess, a glaring there's not a glaring weakness, but we do have two water types, and I guess in that regard, we have weakness to Thunderbolt. But that's not really a concern, I guess, because we're outspeeding it anyways for most electric types, unless I guess they run a Manectric or something like that. We have a problem there. But outside of that, I don't think there's a real problem. So the Pokemon I chose, and I thought it was pretty fun to pick, is Volcanion. I picked this Pokemon just because it follows the theme of the team. It hits so heavy, and my set, I think it provides extra variability, provides a lot more unpredictability as well. They don't know what to expect from it. Again, if you haven't caught up with me yet, the name of the game is unpredictability with that speed, right? Amfungu, we're gonna let's see. I think Shiny Volcanion is so cool, man. It looks like a Los Angeles Lakers like basketball or something like that. But either way, the item I run, most people, I guess, would not agree with in that regard. But it was a debate between Choice Spec and Life Orb, and at the end of the day, I didn't even go with either. I went with Groundium Z. Alright, Water Absorb staple. Groundium Z because although Earth Power hits well, I think with the extra addition of that power for Groundium Z, I think it does so much better. right? If you want that reliable hit on like Mawile, for example, instead of throwing Fire Blast at it, Ground EMZ it. Toxapex, Ground EMZ it, right? It does a consistent amount of damage, and it can pick off a lot of things if they're not expecting it, which I think is great. Well, I'm putting water. Steam Eruption, I think, is a staple in this guy. Fire Blast over Flamethrower because we're not pussies. Sludge Wave over Sludge Bomb because we'd like that extra damage. And Earth Power just because, you know, Ground EMZ. If you haven't guessed it by now, we're going max speed, max special attack. That's just the way we do it, man. Timid nature, make it a little bit faster. Alright, so looking at the team, we'll do a run through of it. We have Tentacruel with an Assault Vest, offensive variant. We have Metagross to punch through literally anything the opponent throws at us, does not matter what. Greninja to keep their opponent on the toes, to hit them with that stab, expert belt, boosted, whatever move I pick. We have Latios, our forgotten boy right here. Choice Scarf, literally picking off anything that is unwary of its being Choice Scarf. We have Ferrothorn, our pivot, our spike setter, our leech seeder, our whipper, our gyro baller, and finally our Volcanion, our Ground EMZ user, and our wall puncher for the special side. Right? So if you enjoyed me team building about this, I will be uploading the Showdown live. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, if you want to test this team before I get there, I will leave that in the paste bin. The Showdown live should be either later tonight or tomorrow morning whenever I have time. But that is it for today, or for now. My name is Squadware. Thank you, my squid familia. I appreciate it. Stay tuned again. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you'd like. Right? I'll catch you guys later. Later.